Hi there.
What's up, y'all? So we're back.
That's right.
Yep.
It's Brunchin with ReGina.
What are we talking about today?
I want to talk about Kirk Franklin. How about that?
Okay. Kirk Franklin has a new album coming out in October, and he released I don't know, I guess it's like a preface to the album, why he named it Father's Day. But it has something to do with his family situation, and we're going to talk about that today a little bit. So, I guess the biggest deal is, if you've been following Kirk Franklin's life, you would know that he never really knew who his father was, but he finds out, like, within the last couple of weeks or a month or so, that the man that he buried was not his biological father, but his biological father is still alive, and he finally met him for the first time, and he's 53 years old now. So what do you got to say?
So basically, I want to start with, there are a lot of people talking about this, whether it's like a marketing gimmick, whatever, or people have their opinions, but the truth is the truth.
Right.
And Kirk Franklin is a human being,
right,
who is going through human life things just like we are. So when I looked at it, I had looked at it over, I kept seeing it popping up, but I was just kind of like, oh, Kirk Franklin's doing something else, because they always have something that he's doing. And then my friend sent me the link, and she said that we should watch it. So I was like, let me watch it. So when I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh. And just remembering Kirk Franklin, we saw him when he was about to he had just gotten engaged. I don't know if you remember that, in Maryland, in Fort Ritchie, Maryland. I think it was whatever, Hagerstown. He came there, and I also remember his son came out on stage, the same son that he's having this problem. And he was about my granddaughter's age, about 7, but he was about to. He had met his wife now, and I just remember from that time, and then I saw him in that eye, and then I start listening to the struggle of not knowing the identity, because that's a part of your identity, your father,
right,
and having that support from parents that gave birth to you, and living in the same area, and you don't have that support. All the things that could be going on with him, and the things that he said,
right.
And there's some things you can say it, but you can never really understand how a person's feeling when they're going through it. But just when I watched it, I looked at him through, when I first remember him coming out, not through scandals, not through, oh, look at how he's acting, look how he's doing it, but looking through a person that was that was broken from birth. Like, he was broken, and then he was broken some more, and then put back together a little bit to be broken again. And then now he's trying to do a new project, and he is hugging his father for the first time, and he's 53 years old. And then you have his son, who was so innocent when I saw him on stage with his fiance, and being raised by a person that's broken leaves you broken. And because they're doing the best that they can. We're living a life that we would hope that someone would reach back and tell us, I've done this, like how we do our kids. I've done this, don't do this. But he didn't have that. So,
right.
And no matter what the scandal is, I'm looking at his life through, he is a broken person, and he's trying to do the best that he can. And this thing set him back.
Yeah.
Like, he even started cussing. And, it's just like, that's stuff you have to be delivered from. But just imagine being delivered, and then you get it's like you just got your face fixed from your nose being broken, and then someone just came and broke it again.
Yeah.
And then on top of the broken, you're not even being told the truth. But something our son asked us, he said, what do you think about the mom? And I said, you know what? I'm looking at his mom just like I'm looking at Kirk. What happened to her in her childhood?
Right.
And then you got to think, at what age when I started doing a little bit of research on his mom, I think maybe at age 12, something happened to her. Like, I'm just looking, and somebody that believed a lie their whole life, how do you expect them to be able to tell the truth? Like, she may not even know what the truth is.
Right.
And I know some people are like, she's a grown adult, blah, 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 whatever. But she's broken, and she may have suffered some type of trauma that has made her forgot. And the only reason I say that this could happen is because I remember when Anna and the baby, all these things, I started forgetting stuff. And the doctor told me the things that you're forgetting,
it's a trauma response.
And it's also a way for your body not to go insane. And I started telling the doctor I can't remember certain things, and he was like, that's a way of dealing with the trauma so you won't go insane. But who knows what he's doing the best that he can with that situation, and he has to separate from that because it may bring him to a place that he can't handle. And then the one thing that she wants, she can't have. But perhaps maybe she might be able to get her some counseling, and maybe she has already had counseling. But for this situation, she hasn't, because this is a whole set of truth that she hasn't been able to process.
But here's the thing. Here's the other thing too that probably needs to be brought. We're looking at this from Kirk's perspective as the broken one, right? But again, like you did mention it, you said that. But if the camera was turned on her and we were able to follow her around,
which it was at the end,
and to get to kind of see what she went through, we would get the full story. Right now, the story is kind of like it's lacking a little bit of context because we don't know what happened to her to make her to respond the way she did.
But you can tell, like her sister, that was her sister.
Mm-hmm. Her sister was. You can
tell. Yeah, but no, you can tell. Her sister said, when they sat down and did the second test, her sister, go back and look at it, because I watched it a couple of times, and she said, you're not going to believe this paperwork that they use in court, you're not going to basically go along with this. And her sister was like, it's not true. So it leads me to believe that there is something going on with her that maybe... I understand what you said about her mom, but something, as I was watching it and listening, something struck me as a little bit strange when her sister said to her, it was as if her sister knew that to back off. Like she said, you realize that you're not going to believe this. She tried to expound a little bit, and then she looked at her sister, and then she was just like, okay. So basically, I think that there's some type of something going on there, and we don't know what kind of father wounds she has.
Right.
And it's a lot. I know the stories about Kirk, but it's like at some point or another, you got to look at the whole picture and who all's been hurt, and which, if you can't tolerate it, he's done the right thing. Like he can't have that, his mom in his life right now under these he's
he's got to love her from a distance.
So he's loving her from a distance, and the one thing that she wants, she can't have because she has not experienced the healing that she needs to experience, or the help that she needs. You can tell, even the sister knows it, but the sister's something too. I mean, so I mean, you got to think. So everybody has their idiosyncrasies. That's what we have in families. Yeah. But this is a little bit deeper, and there's some father wounds, some hurts.
There's all kinds of stuff going on, and so that we don't put ourselves in a place mentally where we think that, oh my gosh, their family's jacked up. This happens in a lot of families.
It's just that he's on spotlight because he is a public figure.
Yep. And some people can identify with that. A matter of fact, a lot of people that watched it, they were able to identify with it. And that's why it's going so rapid. Like, I think he's at almost 2 million because people can identify, and saying people that identifying, it made me think of my sister, and I end up sending it to her because it made me think of my sister. She was always longing for a relationship with her dad, and her dad was not capable of giving her what she needed because of his father wound.
And then it made me think of my dad, who his mom went to her grave knowing who his dad was, but she would never tell him. And that hurt me. It hurt me just watching it. And I have friends that that have the same father wounds that are working through that or trying to work with it. They couldn't even watch the whole thing because it hurt them so bad. It just brought up so many bad memories for them. So I mean, it was wow. It was. Yeah, but it even made me think. I don't really know who my grandfather is on my dad's side, and even knowing the grandfather on my mom's side. That was a whole nother thing in itself, how my mom was conceived, or her mom said that she was conceived. And Yeah. There's just a lot of dynamics. So I just think when we're looking at people and talking about them and wondering why they're doing these things, they have a story behind who they are as a public figure and some pain. And it brings me back to what I said the last show. Like, sometimes you don't know what kind of pain someone's going through. So a little bit of love and kindness and speaking the truth in love and some mercy. So, it's like same mercy needed is the same that you need to give. I need much grace, so I have to give much grace.
Yeah, agreed. We got to be able to just recognize that everybody's struggling with something, and sometimes you catch them at just the right moment, and you're gonna get what you're gonna get. I'll just say, you see your favorite celebrity on the street, and they might be having the best day of their life, and they're willing to take pictures and shake your hand, and then they also might be having the worst day of their life. They might have just dealt with a situation with their wife or a husband or their children, or somebody didn't their baggage just got lost or whatever, and then you dealing with what you're dealing with, and you're just like, oh, they're the worst person ever. It's like, no,
and you're judging them off of that one moment,
right?
But they're human.
Right.
And I've been guilty of judging someone off of that one moment. Yeah. But the thing is I don't like to be judged off of one moment or one situation that I've done, because I've grown and I'm continuing to grow. So that's why I said much grace or mercy needed is the same amount that you have to give. And And just one thing that I really like to point out, his wife, I believe that was his wife when he got the call, and she was helping him to redirect his words. Because, he was getting ready to give the business.
And she's like,
and I love the way she redirected. Hats off to both of them.
Not Kirk, come on.
She gave him the words to say, and he repeated it.
Yeah.
So, but in much prayer, I'm not just talking about your situation, but I continue to pray, because there is other little hurdles. That was just the beginning. It's the beginning of a relationship. It's something new in the beginning. So in the beginning, there's lots of things that happen in the beginning, morning sickness, all kinds of stuff. Right. So I pray that y'all relationship continues to thrive, and I'm so excited for your I'm acting like you're gonna watch this, and maybe one day you might, but I'm so excited for his son, because just remembering the little 7-year-old and just all the things that he's gone through, whatever.
Yeah, because a lot of their stuff was real public. A lot of their disagreements were really public, and people could judge. People were judgy and say,
"Well, it's easy to judge."
Yeah,
it's
Kurt
easy to judge.
Never said that. He was cussing up. I was like, people are going to people. They're going to do what they do.
But it's easy to judge. But then when your life is on spotlight,
people are going to people.
People are going to be people?
Yeah, people.
Or life is going to be lifing?
People are going to be people. I
know that one.
Life is going to be lifing, and Christians are people.
Yes.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Whoa, I hope they don't have a pipe smoking.
Well, I hope you're not smoking pipe, but I
hope you get deliverance in the name of Jesus. That's not something that can keep you out of the kingdom. You just need deliverance.
But we people, and we just, we
make mistakes. And we make a lot of mistakes. It may not look like your mistakes, and it may not be on Spotlight, or it may not be on a platform.
And it may be on Spotlight.
Yeah, and if it is, hey, repentance is a good thing.
It's a good
thing. We had a show way back. It's all right. You can say sorry. Parents say sorry. People say they apologize.
And I think Kirk, I think he did apologize. Yeah, he apologized to his son, because he's like, because
I love how they did when they came head to head, because and then this is another level for his son to have. Grandfathers have a way to bring perspective into things, and they have, like, we're grandparents, we have a way of seeing it a little bit different than parents.
Right.
And providing something that a parent can't.
Something I just thought about. This is kind of cool for the viewers to think about. As grandparents, this is our second, third, fourth, or fifth go round. This is our kids' first time being parents. You shouldn't
be messing up now.
Yeah. They said, what you say? You shouldn't be messing up?
You should not be messing up, okay?
Oh, what, the kids or us?
No, us.
Oh, us. No,
we should have learned. That's why we have wisdom.
Yeah.
And this is why it takes a village in a family. But just imagine, just going back to Kirk, and he didn't have that. And now he's 53.
And that's what people need to understand, is that he didn't have that village. He said he grew up basically by himself with his grandmother. His grandmother adopted him.
But the thing is that
he was by himself.
And look what it created. So, yes, it was bad. and it was rough, but he took those lemons and he made some sweet lemonade. And God sometimes we're in these positions like Joseph, and it creates all this animosity, but then there's also a flower there, and there was a piano. There just happened to be a piano, and behold, I have a plan and a purpose, and and behold, there was a piano, and behold, Kirk, that was his way of escaping the madness.
Right.
And behold, we got Kirk Franklin.
Right.
And through all the stuff that he's learning, because he's living life and he's learning just like we are, much grace and mercy needed. And so much grace and mercy do I render back. Whatever you render back, get to someone else, is rendered back to you. So be careful who you put your mouth on.
Yes, that's right. That is so right.
Especially if you got grandkids or children.
For sure.
Because they're gonna show you. You're gonna learn today. All right. Deuces.
Deuces, y'all. Peace out. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Thank you.
Peace.
Out.